Okay, so we've decided to switch it up.
Yeah, so these tiny little controllers, they look like ice cream bars, is my first impression when I saw them. They are the new Switch controllers.
Yep.
Make sure you don't, attach them together.
Yeah.
And each person's supposed to use, half of the controller, what I consider half the controller. So that would be your motion control and the buttons. And apparently these controllers are extremely expensive, which is crazy. Take a guess. I don't know if
600 you said, but
600.
the estimate is around 300.
Oh no! The controllers themselves are $60 for one.
Just one of these.
Yeah, one of these is $60. It's madness. I swear it's madness, and it's $90 for a pair.
Yeah, no, I'm just distracted because if you look at the two
just don't touch them.
Side by side, you'll see how different the mapping of the controllers are, and it's kind of a little offsetting because when you're playing a multiplayer game, one person's gonna have a disadvantage.
I think they usually say the poor left guy has to use the left controller, and that's what I remember hearing.
Yeah, but, you'd have to go all the way back to the Atari days where it's tiny
puddles. These are even lighter than that. So, but anyways, the game that we're covering this week on the Nintendo Switch, which surprise surprise, is Legend of Zelda: Breath of Wild.
Come on, it's either this or 1-2 swish, and does anyone else want us to just look each other in the eye and start running?
Anyways, it's good exercise, but this game's pretty impressive. I mean, when I first played it, I wasn't as impressed, but I think once you start investing time into it, you realize how big this game really is.
It is very, very big.
It's a big game, and there's so much to do, and you can really spoil this game, I think, if you start saying what you can do in this game.
Exactly. So
other than going around throwing bombs. So anyways, while Nick takes his phone call, I can see why this game is so popular. It's really hard to get a Switch right now too. It seems to be, I don't know, it seems like everyone wants to get one, and the prices are going up to PlayStation 3 levels.
Are we talking early class PlayStation 3 Kaz Hirai, $599 US?
Yeah, pretty much. That's what they're going for. Maybe not American dollars, but Canadian dollars. That's how popular the Switch is. And oh my gosh, I don't even know what it's going to go up to for Christmas. Maybe $800 a system. It's pretty crazy. But no, it's a very pretty looking game. What other thoughts do you have? I guess you have...
It is very challenging, I will say.
Yes, they made it a lot harder than what I thought it would be.
To the point where you can... Okay, so when I was playing Breath of the Wild, and I should probably put a heavy spoiler tag on this, even though this is a random event in the game. I was exploring this wilderness, and I came across old rusted machines.
Mm-hmm.
But because I have dealt with their more active counterparts, I freaked out because I thought they were going to come alive.
Sometimes they do. I mean, that's the thing. You never know the experience when you're walking around. I think that's what makes this game interesting, because you can definitely get lost in the wild just doing nothing in this game. I remember 4 hours last night, and I couldn't describe what we did other than firing flaming arrows at bad guys, and this game is a total time sink, I think. And
definitely it's a great time sink.
It's a great launch title for the system.
Yeah, I wouldn't even call it a kid-friendly Skyrim because it is kind of dark.
Yeah, it is pretty dark, but I think it's got it's rated E10. I mean, there's nothing...
Yeah, but then you have to look at what the E10 is suggesting. Fantasy violence, mild suggestive themes, use of alcohol.
Alcohol? Yeah. But I mean, this is a great way to start the system. Nintendo has to make sure that they keep up the momentum with games like this. And, we'll see how it goes. Splatoon's coming out in a few weeks. for the beta test, so.
Yep, and then it's only a matter of time before this library starts growing and growing. I really like how Nintendo is actually basically evolving Zelda. Like now it's become even more of an open world experience. Like you've seen the franchises evolve in time. Like Pokemon is now like this island spanning epic. Mario Brothers had the 3D platformer. Metroid, the Metroid Prime series. It just goes to show that Nintendo is not afraid to venture out to unfamiliar territory.
Well, this one they've tried to make it as open world as possible, and as I was saying before, like the first word I thought of, I think it was today or yesterday, like it really does feel like an adventure because there's so much to do.
Exactly.
And like you can do as little or as much as you want. And you can experiment as much as you want. There's no one
and hell, you
solution
can
stuff,
you could even try to beat the game without having to.
Done most of like what they put into the game too.
Yeah,
so
it's hard, but you could definitely try to do it.
And some people have done speed runs already, 1 hour to beat the game, and
that's basically what I try to do. Like if you notice, I've gone straight for the main objective. I did not dilly-dally with exploring stuff. The only time I ever did explore was to explore the area surrounding where my main objective was.
Yeah, it's a really flexible game in that sense. You can do as much or as little as you like, and yeah, it's a great way to start the system. And I think it's kind of interesting because I think if we got like a Mario Sunshine 2, I don't think it would have been quite the same experience.
Yeah,
I don't
or
think
like
people would be rushing for the system
yeah,
as much.
now people are gonna be asking like, when is like they want more? They're gonna want more of this, and like DLC's coming out. Though I just have to say, Nintendo, if you could somehow make this like procedural generated quests and whatnot.
Well, it kind of reminds me of like The Witcher, because like you can, as I said, you can do as much as you want and as little as you want, and then you can. It's sort of a game that keeps on giving, kind of like The Witcher 3. From what I've seen, I haven't played the game as much as I've seen other people play it, but there's so much to do. It's overwhelming even like, and that's why it's so easy to sit down and play for like 4 to 6 hours, and it feels like you've just started.
Yeah, like Skyrim was also like that too, where it's like you've barely started the main objective and already you're like 5 hours in to like a complete subplot about a magician's college.
You're a wizard, Harry.
Wizard!
But yeah, I'm not sure if there's really like there's so much to do, and it's both overwhelming and it's also very rewarding to experiment in this game. I think more than any other game I've played in a long time. You can play it however you want to play it. Almost, if you want to climb mountains just for fun, then you can do that too. Or so and that's why I think it's gotten such a high rating, and I think it's
pretty much the best game of. It's gonna be easily the best game of the year unless it's early in the year, but as we've seen with like Overwatch, it can easily become the best game of the year, hands down.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I think it will probably win it, but we'll see.
Was it the hardest Zelda game you've ever played?
So far, I mean, we barely scratched chapter 1 of like 15 chapters.
Yeah.
So so far it's tricky. Like I remember the first hour I played that I didn't really know how to play. So, and once you get used to like beating or running away, as you saw, like I'd run away, like I don't want to die, so I'm going to run away. So, but yeah, it's definitely a game where you have to know like, can you take on these enemies? And I can't think of a Zelda where it's really been the same sort of game like that. Like Link is strong, but you can be overwhelmed very easily.
Yeah.
Like it's sort of like a one-man army, and sometimes you have to run away because otherwise you're gonna die. So
final rating for this?
I'm relucted to give perfect ratings to games, but this one is definitely, the more you go into it, the more enjoyable you find it and everything. So I'd definitely give it a 9 out of 10. I don't think it's a perfect game, but I think it's a very rewarding game, and it's very well done.
Now, if you've
so
seen
much to do.
Now, if you've seen the past few reviews, I've only given like a thumb up or a thumb sideways or a thumb down. For this, I'm gonna make an exception. Two thumbs up.
Yeah, it's a really rewarding game, and you can see why it's rated as the best game for the system so far, because there's just been so much attention to detail. I think that's the takeaway point from me. So I don't know if you have any final thoughts there.
My final thoughts have been already put out. Okay, this is like one of those. It's a killer app. This is worth buying a. This is definitely worth buying your Switch. Like, if anyone is waiting for like the games that will make you buy a Switch, make Breath of the Wild your top 5 games you need to play on Switch.
Or this year, I would say.
Yes.
It's definitely an experience you have to like sit down and play it for yourself.
Even cynics of Nintendo would be like,
Bravo.
bravo.
Alright, well let's wrap it up, and guys, check this game out. You've probably heard of it, and I'm sure you'll probably be playing it sometime this year.
Or I've seen
Try it
people
for yourself.
playing it.
You know, out and about with a Switch, because you can take it with you, so. Alright, well keep on gaming guys, and we'll see you next week.
Adios, amigos. Keep on gaming.